Hi everyone, welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Heron and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today I'm excited to work through day 12 of Inktober Tangles. And today's tangle is simply X's by Tomàs Padrós, CZT. And you can get your handout, your Inktober Tangles handout um, at Stephanie Jennifer's page, and the information is in the description. X's is this lovely border or ribbon tangle, and you can see we get X's there. We'll go step by step, and we're going to do another Zendala project, and you'll need a Zendala and a black pen, a number 2 pencil, and a tortillon. And we're going to need to draw some circles. I already went ahead and did that because this is going to take a little time. But for your circles, you're going to want your smaller one to be about 2.5 inches in diameter. And then your larger one is going to be about 3.5 inches because your entire Zendala is about 4.5 inches. All right. So once you get your circles in, you can rejoin me and we're going to get started here. So X's starts with a series of lines and we're working our way around. So if you think of it like a clock, we are going to put lines roughly at noon and 6. I'm not measuring these out because I like it to be kind of a natural look. You could do some measuring if you'd like to, but I think it'll look just fine without. So we have noon and 6, and then we also have lines at roughly 3 and 9. And these are, the lines are just about the width of my pen cap. And then I'm going to add more little lines roughly at 1 and 2. They're a little bit curved because it's on the circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We already have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So if you think of this as a clock, we just worked our way around, starting at noon here on our smaller circle. And then we're going to do the same thing on our larger circle, but corresponding with the smaller one. So where we had a line here at noon, we're going to draw another one at noon. And then at 1 and 2 and 3 and all the way around. If it's easier for you to rotate, you can absolutely do so. I'm just working my way around it as if it were a clock. So all right, once you have your lines in, we are going to make like a triangle shape here out of them, both on the top and the bottom. And we're just going to work our way around. And again, if you need to rotate, please go ahead and do so that you're comfortable. We will be inking those in, but before we do that, I'd like to kind of go step by step through the rest of the tangle and then come back and ink them in. All right, so once we have our lines and then our triangles in, we're going to kind of connect them. So between 12 and 1 on the outer ring, we're going to make another triangle shape or an angle shape like that. We're connecting our triangles, I guess would be the best way to say that. And we're going to skip the next one. So if we're thinking this is noon and 1, we're going to skip between 1 and 2 and do the same between 2 and 3. So I'm going to rotate a little bit like that. So then we're going to skip and then we're going to do that again. And then skip. And skip. And sometimes you will need to kind of adjust your triangles a little bit, and that's fine because we're working in a circle, so sometimes you do need to make a little bit of adjustment. And when you get back to where we started, we're going to do the same thing on the inner circle, but pointing in. And then again, we'll skip 1. So it's really every other. All right. And then once you have that in, those areas that we skipped, we are going to connect those corners. And we're going to do that all the way around. We're working on the outside first. And then once you've made it all the way around, we're going to aura that curve part there. All right. And then we're going to do the same on the inside. So we're going to connect these in those areas that we skipped over. We're going to connect them. And once we've made it all the way around, we can add our aura, but on the inside this time. All right. Now at this point, I think I will ink these in our little triangles here. I like to do all that line work first because I really have to concentrate with the areas that I need to skip. If you feel that you would like to ink these in earlier when they're first drawn in, you can do that for sure. But for me, I like to ink these in kind of as I go. Sometimes I do it at the very end, but I just want to kind of make sure we're on track here. This one looks a little smaller, so I'm going to add a little weight here and make it a little bit larger. Um, and this is a good time to do that. It's a little smaller too, so I could make it a little larger. All right, once we have those inked in and made some adjustments, now we can add some more lines here. So for our larger diamond areas, because we end up with these diamond areas, we're going to draw a line from point to point. All right, and then we're going to do the same in the smaller areas, just kind of eyeballing it and cutting those in half. All right, because we don't have the points to kind of tell us where to connect. So we kind of have to guess. And keep rotating. And once you've made it all the way around, then we're going to add some, I call them diamond shapes, but you could think of them as two triangles. So let's start in this area here, and we're just going to add a triangle there and a triangle there. So it's like a diamond shape. And then we're going to ink that in. And I've got my puppy here trying to get my attention, but he should be fine. So let's do our larger areas first. Just kind of work our way around. So again, it's a triangle and a triangle on each side of the line. and then you ink it in, and it looks like a diamond shape. Just keep rotating. I'm going to kind of straighten this out a little bit here. Let him go. Okay. All right. Okay. I think he's sleepy and he needs a nap. His name is Benji. Okay, I'm gonna ink this in. All right. I'm going to pause it for just a second and see what's troubling him. I'll be right back. Sorry. Okay, my apologies. He needed a midnight snack. He can't possibly be hungry, but somehow he is. So let's finish inking this in. All right, moving on to the next one. Putting in the diamond shape. And again, sometimes I make adjustments as to how big they are. It depends on if you want to add some more additional details later. You might want to have your diamonds a little bit smaller. All right. And then in these other areas, we are also going to put some diamonds, but they're a little smaller. So if you're looking at your project, you can see the X shapes once we get the diamonds put in there. And probably the best way to think about your diamonds is when you add this shape, it's kind of an aura of this shape. So we have this kind of shape in here, and we are kind of following that. So they're even, the space is roughly even. And on to our last one here. Okay, so you can see our X's running through here all the way around. Um, that is actually basically the Tangle X's. We're going to do a little extra work here. If you would like to, you can run some detail like aura that line there. For now, I'm just going to leave it because I kind of like it like that. because you can definitely see those X shapes running through there. Um, so I'm going to leave that like that for now. I would like to add something in the center though, and I thought we'd go with poke root just for a little fun whimsy. I don't know why when I saw this tangle, the X's, I thought of pairing it with poke root and poke leaf. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to make a slight curve, kind of a C, but just slightly. We're going to aura that, put in a little smile, and then we're going to make another curve around it like that. Can rotate, and then we'll put in another one. Little smile. And then we're going to put a curve around it, but I ran into this one, so I have to lift up my pen and go over to where I want to go and finish my little poke root. Rotate again, and I'm going to go this way now. Little smile, curve in. Let's get another one in there. That. So we have 4 little, they kind of look like berries or cherries. And we can add some more. So the stem is coming off this way, and I'm going to add a little bit of a stem going the other way, the smile, and then the curve around it. And I think I'll come over here and add one here. I'm just kind of randomly adding them in. And once I have some of those in, then I will kind of rotate around to see where I'd like to add some poke leaves. And it starts with a stem again and a smile. This time we're doing heart-shaped leaves. And kind of rotate around and see where I'd like to add another one. And it's just a matter of rotating and adding either the poke root or the poke leaf, depending on what you'd like to put in there. All right, I think that's about all I can fit in there. So I'm going to put the cap on my pen and pick up my pencil. And let's start with the X's. So I think the best way to go is starting with an area that is the smaller side of the X, and then adding graphite there. And I'm adding it pretty heavily till I get to these points. And then I'm going to go with less pressure, make it a little lighter until I get to the top here, to the line. So we start out with more pressure, and then as we work our way to the right, it gets lighter. And then we're going to skip that one and then go to another one where it's the shorter side on the left. And use some pressure to put your graphite in. And now we start using less pressure until we get to the top. It's pretty light. And rotate, and again, it's shorter on the left. We add a lot of pressure. This point, less pressure. Skip this one and then repeat. All right. And then another thing we can add is a little bit of graphite right here on the other shorter areas. All right, that was quick. And then I think I would like to add some graphite around the poke root and the poke leaves. So I'm just adding it in these areas that I'm not going to be adding color to, because I am going to add color to the center. I think it might look cool to actually ink these in where I'm putting the graphite. Um, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use the graphite and then add a little bit of color. So I'm adding a little bit more graphite in the center areas, like here, and less as I work my way out. All right. So we have all that in there. And I'm going to take my tortillon, and I'm actually going to start in the center and work my way out. And this is the part that I find really relaxing, is blending the graphite out. You just use like a gentle circular motion. Uh, like that. And then we will blend out the X's here, starting with these areas. And it gets lighter as we move to the right. All right, and then we still have these little areas to blend out. Like so. Now, if you're not going to be adding color, you could add a little graphite to like these areas. And I'm just doing that with my tortillon. Um, I'll just go ahead and do that. If you're adding color, you might not choose to do that. I had just enough graphite on my tortillon to be able to do that. And you could call that finished, actually. Um, I am going to take it a step further and add some color. So, from my box of 12 colored pencils from Crayola, I have selected the greens, a brown, a yellow, a red, and maybe we might need white. So I'm going to start with the red one. And I'm just going to, let's see, which one should we start with? How about this one? I'm just using the circular motion to add color here. I'm not pressing a lot. I'm just kind of blocking in the color. Once I get it kind of where I like it, I'm going to go back in and add a little pressure to some areas. I'm just actually looking for a subtle hint of color. I don't want the color to be overwhelming. And go back in and add some pressure there. And go back over this. And although I'm using red, you could use a different color like orange if you wanted, or anything. You could use purple if you wanted. You don't have to use the same colors that I'm using. So yeah, I'm just looking for a hint of color. I'm not looking for anything overpowering. If you want it bolder, by all means, you can go ahead and add more pressure or add more layers, whatever you feel like suits you, you go right ahead. Just remember that you can always go darker, but you can't really go backwards and go lighter. So my suggestion would be to start light and then add layers. All right, I think we have all of the poke root. And I'm going to go ahead and do the leaves. We don't have too many here. I guess we only had 4. Just adding the darker green to the top half there where I feel like it would be a little darker. All right. Yeah, very light color there. And then I'm going to take I think this is the yellow green, and add that to the bottoms. I don't think I'm going to need the yellow, so, but if you want to add yellow, you can. I'm going to use the brown though, and I'm going to use that for the stems. That so we just have a little hint of color. And then I think one of the last things I'd like to do is actually take the metallic gel pen, and I'm using the copper colored one from Altitude. And this is not glitter, it's metallic, but they're really nice. I am going to add that to these areas here. I'm trying to be mindful not to touch the areas I just added gel pen to because it takes a little while for that to dry. All right. And then I'm going to do that also to the outer ones. And this is optional. You don't have to do that. But I think it gives it a nice kind of finished look. There we go. Awesome. How cute is that? So we have our X's as a border, and then we have our poke root and a few poke leaves. And all we need to do is put our chop in there, put our initials in there somewhere. And let's see, where would I like to put mine? Sometimes it's hard to decide. I think I'll tuck them in here like that. And then I'm going to, it's a little bit wet yet, but while I'm waiting for it to dry, you can kind of see how that shines with the metallic. And it looks really cool. All right. I'm gonna try not to smear it. I like to put my name and the date. This was Inktober Tangles 2024. It's day number 12. And we had X's by Tomàs Padrós. And then we also had oak root and leaf by Zentangle. I'll just put ZHQ, Zentangle headquarters. All right. So this was a fun project, a fun Zendala. I always enjoy Zendalas. They're very calming and meditative. I just love this with the bold X's going all the way around and the sweet poke root and poke leaves in the center with just a hint of color. And then we have a little bit of shininess with the metallic gel pen. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, I hope you'll subscribe and join me for future projects. This has been fun. I really, really like this one. Super fun, super cool. Uh, it does take some concentration though, because there's the areas that you fill in and the areas that you skip over. So lots of concentration, but a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm filming this late at night, so I hope everything was all right. And I will see you tomorrow for day 13. And it'll be a fun, very organic tangle from Zentangle. All right. Have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.